much for tuning in to Sundays at the Square. I am your host, Toni Ringgold, and today, if you're just tuned in, we are having a very serious and important conversation. As you all know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and today I have some beautiful ladies of Peak Warrior Angels talking to me. They are survivors of breast cancer, and they're talking and giving so much important information about breast cancer. We just heard from Beth, and now we're going to hear from Leanne. So do not touch that dial. You want to tune in and hear this show. Alrighty, so go ahead, Leanne. I want to hear a little bit about your story.
I found the lump myself when I was doing my self-exam. I picked the date of our anniversary, so every month, on the 13th of every month, I would do my exam on both my breasts, and I found a lump, and it was weird because it was very significant in size. It wasn't, I could tell right away something wasn't right. I went in and had a ultrasound done. From the ultrasound, the results came back, and they said, we're going to need to do a biopsy. They did the biopsy. It was right around the Christmas holidays of 2015, and I requested that they told me in January, because I wanted to enjoy the holiday with my family.
Absolutely.
I went to my nurse practitioner, Tomasek, and she walked into the room and looked at me, and I was smiling. You know, I'm a pretty happy gal. And she looked at me and she said, "You don't know, do you? You have stage 3A breast cancer." And
oh my goodness. My
husband was sitting there, and I looked over at him, and I almost fell. I was standing when she told me. And she just hugged me, and it was such an emotional thing to hear it out loud. Because I thought in my heart that I had it, but to hear it out loud, it brought it to reality, and you're like, oh, my goodness. So that part was really difficult, especially when they said the number 3, because I watched what somebody went through in stage 2, and it was not pretty. I mean, she went through a lot, dear friend of mine. And so once we found out, mine was very aggressive. It was ER/PR positive. So every time my body produced a hormone, I was looking at my cancer cells growing every time. So it was very aggressive. And they went in and did chemo. I did 8 rounds of chemo. I did AC chemo for 4 rounds. They put a port in my body to where they could stick the port in so it wouldn't have to go through my vein. It would go through the port into my body. So they did a surgery for that to put it in, and then we did every 2 weeks.
What was
8
that
rounds
like, going through that?
The first time that I actually had it, it was red, bright red. They call it the red devil, is what they call it. It is the brightest red I've ever seen.
What is red?
The chemo in the bag was bright red.
Explain it. So for example, I don't even know what chemo is. So what is chemo? What
chemotherapy is where the chemo will go in and kill the cancer cells. The unfortunate thing about
liquid?
Yes.
Okay.
The unfortunate thing, and it comes in pill form also, like she said that she took. For me, it was liquid, and it went in a port. I have a scar where they put the port in, and they would intravenously, they'd switch it in, twist it, and then you'd sit there for about an hour. And
did you feel it?
Yeah. Oh, yes. You could taste it. You could feel it. It was disgusting. But when the first time that they actually did it, I was sitting in a chair, and, you know, it was away from the wall like this, and I was petrified. And my husband was watching me, and I was pushing as it was coming up the, you know, it was coming up the tube. I was pushing into the wall because I was freaked out, you know. So I did that for 8 rounds. They did AC chemo, and then they did Taxotere. And as I'm getting Taxotere, they're saying...
What's Taxotere?
Taxotere is another type of chemo.
Okay.
So I did 2 different ones because it was aggressive. The Taxotere, I'm sitting in the living room watching TV, and a commercial pops up for, if you get permanent hair loss from Taxotere, you can...
Oh, my goodness.
You can sue so-and-so and so-and-so. And, you know, I had hair down to my waist, naturally curly, and it was nice and purple. And, you know, I'm a girly girl, so it freaked me out. And I'm like, if I don't get my hair back, I'm going to hurt somebody. I'm serious. I'm going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
So that was, you know, that's difficult. Just as a female, you know, we complain about, oh, I don't want to fix my hair today. Well, be blessed. Right. Because you have hair. Okay. Right. I don't want to hear it, you know.
Right.
So it was.
Did you lose your hair?
Yes, all of it. I lost my hair, my eyebrows, my fingernails, my toenails, my eyebrows, and my eyelashes. All of it. All of it.
Oh.
Skin peels, feet peel. Yeah, it was insane.
So what I'm told, and I wanted to kind of see if this is a myth or not. What I'm told is chemotherapy is like literally poison.
Yes, it is.
And it goes into your body. So you're literally being injected with poison into your body as well.
Right. It can't really differentiate of, are these good cells or are these bad cells? Like with the chemo that I got, later down the road, when people hear the word remission, they think, okay, we're done. You're good. Everything's great. Life goes back to normal. Life will never be normal again. Who you were before you started is not the person you come out as. You come out stronger, but you also come out with so much ailment from the chemo. Yeah. Emotional, psychological, physical, because everybody thinks you're supposed to be that person you were before. And the reality is, I'm not that person I was before.
I've been through the fire.
But exactly. Yeah. And but I kicked it and we're good. Our family made it,
So when you went through the 8 rounds of chemo, what happened after that?
They gave me a break. And what they told me they wanted to do was give me about 2 months break. And then they were going to do my double mastectomy. I found the lump in 2015. I started chemo 3 days before my birthday in February. And we finished it up. And then in July, I had my double mastectomy, bilateral.
Now, was that always the plan? Or were they going to try to see if the chemo killed it first?
No, mine was very aggressive. And they let me know right off the bat that I was going to be going in. And my decision was, even though it was in one breast, just like she did, I was like, whatever I can do to reduce the chances of me going through anything else and having my family endure this. Because something that people need to think about is, I learned that when I had cancer, so did my family, my friends. They all had it with me.
Right.
Because they're enduring their own emotional and psychological deal also, because they're looking at somebody they love that potentially could die,
Right.
And that's like? Scary.
I did, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I was actually going to segue into that. What was it? What were some of the challenges of going through that and having your family, especially your husband, right there, and they see you're going through this? What did you feel like you had to be strong for them? Were you, did you have your moments? Like what did you go through?
My husband was exceptionally supportive. His job, they allowed him to take FMLA, be there with me for chemo, be there with me for radiation. So the entire journey, my mom, my friends, my sisters, my husband, my kids, everybody took a very, very significant role. And when they say when you say that people are, you're my support system, I had rocks, and it wasn't just one. So all together, it was like a boulder. I had so much family and strong faith. I mean, just like she said, I knew God was going to get me through it because my story wasn't over. I knew that. Right. I was very concerned about my son because he was 8. My youngest son is 8. My daughter was a senior in high school.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And my son was 20, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
but that's a lot.
It's a lot. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
That's a lot. So as we talk about all of this, you guys now is it considered remission? Is that what it is? And so you still have a process that you still take medication?
Yes.
You still go through your checkups?
Yes.
And all of that. So first of all, thank you so much for being so open and sharing your story. Now what I want to kind of talk about is Pink Warrior Angels. And then for our listeners, what can they do and what do they need to do to help prevent and to take care of themselves? What advice would you give? Just anything that you would want us to tell our listeners about breast cancer awareness and prevention. So Pink Warrior Angels, I've seen so many. Matter of fact, I was somewhere and they had a fan. It was cute too. And they gave me,
we need those, trust me.
Yes, and they gave me the cutest little fan. I still have my fan too. I meant to bring it today, but yes. And so I was somewhere, but I wanted to find out a little bit more about the organization.
Pink Warrior Angels is a nonprofit organization that was founded by two women here in our Texas area, one in Central Texas and one in New Braunfels, Julie and Jen. Awesome. And both of them are breast cancer survivors themselves. They went through a lot with their situation, and they wanted to help other women never have to feel like they had to do it alone. Yeah. And so they began their organization, and there's two parts to it, the warrior and the angel. When you're a warrior, when you're going through your journey with breast cancer, and you're an angel when you're finished with all your treatments and everything, you can help a woman who's going through the same thing.
I love it.
So I've actually had the honor of being both. I guess you can call it an honor. I was a warrior, and Julie was actually my angel. And it was, I just can't really tell you enough how comforting it is to be able to talk to someone who's been through the same thing that you have. Mm-hmm. Like, your family is very supportive, and I don't want to minimize that at all, because I had a very supportive family. I've been married 33 years. My husband was right there. My kids were right there. My friends, my family, even my clients were right there. But like me, they didn't really know a lot about what to expect, what was going to happen. And my angel, she had already been through all that. And so I could talk to her about it, and she could tell me what her experience was. And then I, in doing so, I felt like I wasn't alone in my situation. Awesome. And then once I was finished, I was able to become an angel to someone who was going through cancer. And I went to her chemotherapy treatments with her. I went to the store with her, for her when she wasn't feeling well, made sure she was eating. Mm-hmm. I helped her, with some processes because she wasn't able to go to work, to help get some money coming in for her, which is another thing that the Pink Warrior Angels does. They do fundraising and take donations and things so that they can help women and their families who are going through these situations. Yes. They actually helped me. My husband was laid off when I went to do my mammogram. Goodness. So my insurance ran out 30 days after that, and it seems like it's a bad thing. It turned out to be a blessing because he was able to be home with me and everything.
And help you.
Yes. Yeah. And I needed that. I needed him with me. And then, but we also struggled financially because at the time we were on unemployment. So the Pink Warrior Angels also offers financial assistance.
Awesome.
To their warriors.
Awesome. So Pink Warrior Angels, if you want to find out more about them, you can definitely go onto Facebook and just type in Pink Warrior Angels. We are getting ready to wrap it up. We have about 30 seconds left. I wanted to ask you real quick, Leanne, what are some of the things real quickly that our listeners should be looking for? How can they do preventative measures? What are your recommendations?
First and foremost, make sure you're doing your breast exams. Every month, pick a date, whatever date is significant to you, put it in your phone. Mm-hmm. That is the biggest thing that you can do because you can catch it. If you're over the age of 40, ensure that you're going in for your mammograms. If you've been diagnosed and you go through it, ensure that you're going to the oncologist, whatever time frame they tell you. Like right now, I go every 6 months, faithfully. Yes. We have a date. I don't like you, but we have a date. You know, I mean, it's you remind me of the road I went on. It wasn't real pretty, but I still love you because you saved my life. But I don't want these dates to be very often. So that's huge. Follow what your doctor tells you to do and implement. The more positive you are, the more you can find joy in the day. Something so small can be so joyous. My dog can come up to me and wag her little tail at me, and you find the grace of the day.
Find the grace of the day. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So, and love those around you, and make sure you're giving back. It just like we're here, we're giving back because we want people to know they aren't alone.
Right.
If you find it, if you're a family member, you don't know how to deal with it, talk to people. That's critical too. Yeah. Because the family members need just as much help as the ones that are enduring the cancer. It's just a different emotional cycle.
Yes. Well, ladies, I want to thank you so much for tuning in or coming in today. And I want to thank all my listeners for tuning in. But I'm so blessed that you guys came. I learned a lot today. So I hope that each and every one of my listeners learned a lot today. Guys, make sure that you stay tuned with B106. Go on myb106.com. You can hear this show and all other shows. Of course, tuning into the radio with me on Sunday mornings. You're going to be able to hear. And also, please, please, please go on Facebook and like B106 Hip Hop and R&B. We always have some positive things going on in the community, but most importantly, guys, make sure you get your mammograms. Make sure you do those self-exams. I'm going to go as soon as I get to the house. I'm lifting this arm up, child, and I'm going to start feeling. Do you hear me?
Do those circles. I'm telling you.
The circles, okay?
Start on the outside, work it in.
Yes. I'm gonna definitely do that. You guys have really, you've enlightened me, and I know that you've enlightened our listeners as well. So again, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Shout out to the Pink. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and shout out to Pink Warrior Angels. Woo-hoo. Yes, woo-hoo. It's going to be, this is just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stuff. Appreciate everyone and all that they do. And again, thank all of our listeners for tuning in to Sundays at the Square. I am your host, Toni Ringgold. I want you to always remember that there is enough sun for everyone to shine. Be blessed.